Welcome students. Today is Monday, November 16th, and today we'll be going over Unit 4, Lesson number 5. And Lesson number 5 specifically will be teaching us about 3-digit by 1-digit multiplication. Our learning target for the day: I can solve multiplication of a 3-digit by 1-digit number using partial products. Our essential question for this unit is remaining the same. We're going to continue to build upon it. Why is it important to approach problems using a variety of strategies? Now, in our next slide, the title is Multiplication Strategy Help Video. So that's exactly what it says. So right here, you've got a short help video for area model that will remind us how to solve a problem using an area model. And here is a help video. If you click right here, it will open up a video on a different tab, and it will show you or remind you how to use expanded notation to solve a multiplication problem. And over here, lastly, the algebraic notation. So clicking on this help button will bring up a short video explaining how to solve and giving an example of how to solve algebraic notation. So this is going to be up here for you to refer to anytime that you want, okay? And when you open up these videos, if you would like to go in and just bookmark the actual website, that way it'll be on your computer for you to be able to use however often that you want. Last week we did have an opportunity to go over and practice using the area model, expanded notation, and the algebraic notation. So we've already had an opportunity to practice with them, but again, these are just going to be kind of refresher videos for you. On our next slide, the question here is, what are some similarities and differences between these three methods? So you got the area model, expanding notation, and the algebraic notation. So I'm just going to pause and for you to take just a few minutes to take a look at each one and see if you see any similarities or differences between them. And if you do, then write them in your notebook. Write any similarities and differences in your notebook. And you'll notice that the area model, they're all set up differently. In the area model, of course, you got the boxes here for both sides where you separate. And here, this is more vertical, going up and down for the expanded. The algebraic is going from side to side, but for all of them, you've got a number that has been decomposed, like the 26 has been decomposed to 20 and 6, and here it's been decomposed, and right here it's been decomposed. And also for all of them, you've got partial products for each. So partial products for each that eventually you add up to get your final product. On to our next slide here. And it says to try one of these methods with 3-digit by 1-digit multiplication on Jamboard. So you've been assigned a couple of different Jamboards today, but the first one is going to be for your launch Jamboard, and you're going to open that up, and you're going to be able to use one of these methods, one of the area model, expanding notation, or the algebraic notation. I've just taken these same help videos from the previous slides, and I've just put them right here just for ease of use for you. Okay, so I'm going to pause for a few minutes and give you an opportunity to bring up the Jamboard for this one, and I'll show you which one it looks like. Okay, so for the first Jamboard that you should bring up, it looks like this. It says use either the area model, expanded notation, or algebraic notation method to solve. You can use the pen tool to show your tool for your work. So you're choosing whichever one you use, the area model, expanded, or the algebraic, and you're going to solve this problem with that one that you chose. Okay, so I'll pause and give you an opportunity to work in this out of here. Now, as I usually say, if you want to work it in your notebook first, that's fine. But then I want you to transfer it and work it inside of here, okay? All right, so the problem was 437 times 4, and again, you were able to choose whichever one of these methods to use to solve it. Just picking one of them, whichever one you feel more comfortable with, and you've had a few minutes to do that. And again, you can pause as often as you like. Pause this video as often as you like. So now I'm going to show you my work here. So the problem again was 437 times 4. And for this one, I used the area model for. If you can see the 437, the bigger number, as usual, I'm putting at the top. The bigger number we're putting at the top. The smaller number we'll put on the side over here. And you'll notice that the 437 has been decomposed at the very top here. So I've decomposed that to 400 plus 30 plus 7, and that total equals 437. And right here, what I've done is I've multiplied the 400 times 4, and I get an answer of 1600. And over here, multiply the 30 times the 4, you get 120. And over here, multiply the 7 times the 4, get an answer of 28. And with these partial products, then you have to add them up. So then I set them up here, of course, the correct place value spots, and I added them all up to get 1,748. And here's your answer here. Okay, so remember what we're looking for is not just the answer. You have to show your work for it, showing us that you know how to set up the area model. If this is what you chose, show us that you know how to set up the area model, you know how to decompose the numbers, and you've added up the partial products properly. And if you need to pause this video to make any corrections to yours, then feel free to go ahead and do that. But I'm going to move on to the next one because I did that one 3 different ways. So that was the area model. And then here was the expanded notation. The same problem if you chose to do it this way, the expanded notation. Again, I decompose that 437 to the same numbers, 400 plus 30 plus 7, multiplying it by 4. And right here on the first line, I multiplied the 7 times the 4, and I put my answer to that right here. And then the 4 times the 30, 120, I put that right here. Then 4 times 400 is 1,600. I put that right here. And just like I did with the area model, I added them all up, 1,748. So if you chose the expanded notation, if you want to pause this and make any corrections if you need to yours, feel free to go ahead and do it. But I'm going to show you the last one here using the algebraic notation. The same problem, 437. That's also been decomposed to 400 right here. 400 times 4, 30 times 4, 7 times 4, and the partial products I've got right here. And I've added them all up. Same answer. So go on and pause the video if you need to make any corrections to yours. So on our next 3 slides here, what I have is just the steps. I've got the different strategies, the 3 different strategies, and I'm showing you the steps that it takes to solve each one of them. And I'll just kind of briefly go over. This is the area model, and I explained it on the other example, but here the factors are broken apart by place value to multiply. This method organizes the partial products using area rectangle sections. So these little rectangles are considered just rectangular sections. So whenever you do the area model, you're sectioning them off. And this is where you decompose the numbers. The 237, it's been decomposed to be 230 and 7 over here. And of course, you multiply each one times the 4, and you get your partial product right here. The next one, expanded notation, and I explained this earlier too. This method also decomposes the factors by place value to multiply. It is organizing a series of equations instead of the rectangular sections. So we don't have the rectangular sections here like the area model, but it's been decomposed. The 237 has been decomposed based off of the place value. So whatever the value was for hundreds right here in the number 237, the 2 represents 200. The value of that is 200. And for the 30, the value of that 3 is 30. And for the 7, the value of that in the ones place is 7. And again, we're doing the proper multiplications. Times 4, we got our partial products, and we got an answer. And lastly, algebraic notation. So this method, again, decomposes factors by place value as well to multiply. So here you use more mental math in this method compared to the other strategy. but you still organize your thinking using equations and parentheses. So the 237, again, that's been kind of broken apart or decomposed based off of the place value, 237 times 4. And here you got the equal sign. And over here you going in and you're specifying, well, what are you multiplying each place value by? Okay, so the 200 times the 4, 30 times 4, 7 times 4. Partial products, your answer. And that's the algebraic notation. So on our next slide, we've got some independent practice that's also on our Jamboard. So this was the second Jamboard that your teacher has assigned to you. And here you're going to do just more practice. And this is independent work. And I've got the same little help videos right here for you to go back to, if you ever need to practice. And we're going to pause for a second, but I'm going to bring up the actual Jamboard that you should be working on. So the Jamboard for independent practice, guys, this is what it looks like. This is the first, let me go back. There's actually 4 total on here, but this is the first one on there. 1-digit by 3-digit multiplication practice. So this one, multiplication place value using partial product, so 328 times 6. So for this one, you can use, any method. I would say, try using any method that you want to solve this one right here. And you got that one, it's the first one. Then you got a second one here, 881 times 8. The third one, and there's a fourth one. These are all for practice. And I'll go ahead and kind of give you a head start on getting these done. So I'll show you my work for that first one. Okay, so on that very first one, 328 times 6, you'll see I decompose the 328 to 300 plus 20 10s and 8 1s. And I've got the smaller number over here. And of course, I multiplied each value times the 6, and I've got 1800 right here, 120, 48. These are all the partial products. Then I added the partial products up for an answer of 1968. So that's the first one I've already got done for you. You go ahead and complete the next 3 of them. Make sure to show your work and not just put an answer up here for us. Okay, and lastly, for independent work, make sure to complete the previous Jamboard activity, and we've already kind of worked through the first one together I showed you. In addition to that, I want you to work on Dreambox, and this is just a reminder that at the end of for every week you need to complete at least 5 lessons. Of course, I would love for you to do more than that, but at least 5, and that kind of amounts to, if you do 1 of them per day, if you do 1 lesson per day, you'll have the 5 at the end of the week. So that is our Monday.